Welcome to the Advanced Searching video series, Part 2. In the last video, we covered issue statements, methods of searching, and generating search terms. In Part 2, we'll talk about how to use connectors and construct a search. Think back to our issue statement. Does tuition paid to a community college qualify as a deductible educational expense? We already talked about search terms. Now, let's go through connectors that we can use to link our terms together. Remember that when you're doing terms and connectors searching, you need a connector between every term, unless the terms are in quotation marks. The first connector we'll cover is OR. Use OR between alternative terms. For example, we would search for community college or junior college. Since junior college is an alternative to community college, we don't care which of these two terms the search engine retrieves. Either one is okay. Using OR between terms is a way to broaden or expand your search. In contrast, AND is a connector that limits your search because it will retrieve documents containing both terms. For example, if we search for education, ! And expense, we will only get documents that contain both of these terms. Now, let's talk about combining the connectors AND with OR, such as education! And expense or tuition. The search engine will automatically add parentheses to your search around the OR terms. So the search engine will retrieve documents that have education with the term expense or documents that contain education with the term tuition. In other words, education must appear in the document, but it can contain either expense or tuition. Next, let's look at proximity connectors. Proximity connectors operate in a similar way to AND, except that now you're asking the search engine to look for documents containing the terms closer together. For example, if you want education to be in the same paragraph as expense, use the /p command. /s means same sentence. You can also use slash with a number. The n here represents a numerical value, meaning the terms must appear within that number of words of each other. Now let's put this all together. Here are the search terms we previously chose. Notice that we've added quotation marks around community college and its alternative, junior college. And we've also added the root expander to deduct and education to retrieve variant endings of those words. It isn't necessary to use the root expander for expense in order to find expenses because Westlaw and Lexis will automatically search for the plural form of words. We'll connect the terms in the vertical columns using OR. We'll connect the terms horizontally with AND or one of the proximity connectors. So, here's what the search looks like once we put it all together. Community college or junior college within the same paragraph as deduct, within the same paragraph as education, within the same sentence as expense or tuition. Notice that I did not put quotation marks around educational expense to create a phrase search. That's because while a document may use the phrase educational expense, I can also imagine other ways that those two words might be combined in a sentence. For example, it might say the expense of education or something similar. Only use phrase searching when you are searching for an exact phrase that is always stated the same way. Now that we've gotten through all of the connectors, I want to briefly mention just a few tips to keep in mind when you're using terms and connector searching. First, look at this search. Can you identify what's wrong with it? There is no connector between community college and junior college. Forgetting to use a connector is a common error and it will change your search. Remember, you must put a connector between every term in terms and connectors searching. Another thing to keep in mind is that it's not one search, it's research. That is to say that the first terms and connectors search you try might not get you exactly what you need. You may need to revise your search and try it again. This is normal, and it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. In revising your search, keep in mind that if you get too few results, you may need to broaden your search. You could broaden your search by adding more alternative terms connected by OR by changing proximity connectors to AND. In contrast, if you need to narrow your search, you could change AND to /p or even /s. You could also take away some of the terms that you have connected with an OR. It might be a bit of trial and error in the beginning, but once you master terms and connectors searching, it's a very powerful research tool that will end up saving you time. So please don't be afraid to play around and let's have some patience with it. Lastly, I want to mention that there are other connectors you can use besides the ones we've mentioned in this video. We've just gone through the basic connectors that work on both Westlaw and Lexis. You can find a list of connectors for each database that will tell you all of the commands that work on that database. Keep in mind that some of them will differ between databases. I've put together a handout for you summarizing these differences. Finally, congratulations! You've completed the Advanced Searching video series. Good luck practicing this important skill.